Hi guys, welcome back. So this is actually the first meal of the day for me. I don't know why I wait so long to eat. I think it's, what time is it? It's what, 11? 12. Interesting time, by the way. I usually wait till like noon, but because I'm going to do this video, I figure I'll just snack a little bit. And this video came highly requested. I keep getting people asking me, will I date a cuckold? I'm like, this topic has really been of high demand since the very first time when I made a video on cuckold. And so I have to come with the moment of truth because it feels a little bit weird. I have to come with the moment of truth. And cuckold, someone just asked, what is cuckold? Cuckold, it's different definitions for cuckold. So you have the cuckold man, right, or husband, who basically becomes cuckold by proxy because his wife or his female partner is having sexual affairs with other men. Then you have cuckold men who actually choose to be a cuckold. They choose it. It's just what they want to do. It's a fetish, basically. So in this video, I'm going to address the question as to whether or not I would date a cuckold. And I figured that I was just go ahead. I've been thinking about, like, should I? This is a really thick shake. A smoothie, whatever you call it. This is a really, really thick. This is banana peanut butter. So, hopefully you guys can hear me. I do have my AC on in the background. That's not going to change. So, I'll try to talk a little bit louder. So, here we go. I'll tell you guys. Let me eat this before it melts. Can you guys try this, by the way? It's Magnum Double Caramel. So I was living in Atlanta. Most of you guys know I used to live in Atlanta back in 2011. And I was dating this defense attorney. I cannot say his name. But I was dating this defense attorney, black man, that I met when I went to the courthouse to pay out some tickets, right? And of course, he had lived in this really nice neighborhood. This thing looks delicious. See if it tastes delicious. This might be too much sugar for me. But he lived in this nice neighborhood, and of course, he invited me over. You know, we went on a couple dates. He invited me over, and of course, you know, hanging out, chilling at his place. And we got, like, really involved with each other. Like, we was really feeling each other. We clicked up, like, off the bat. I just have a thing for men in suits for some reason. I don't know what it is. I just have a thing for men in suit and tie. And so we got to know each other really well. And I think what really attracted me to him, I guess, probably was just his demeanor. Like, he seemed to really know how to treat a woman, know how to nurture a woman and take care of a woman. I really liked that about him. And so we had been dating for maybe, I think, 6 months at the time. And he actually invited me to come and live with him, right? I ended up moving in with him, which I was a little bit hesitant to do because I'm just like, I don't know how I feel about, like, moving in with a guy. I think it was, I don't know, I felt like his energy, even though, like, we really clicked, it was just something. It's always something, right? So it was 6 months after, you know, we had met, like, ended up moving in together. He had this really nice house, you know, in Atlanta. A lot of people have nice homes in Atlanta. It's not really uncommon. Had a really nice house in Atlanta. It was like a 2-story house. garage. It was beautiful, you know, and I felt like he was the one. And so that's caramel. I think it's like, what, double caramel? Oh my gosh, double caramel. That's too much caramel. Who wants this? So, but I moved in with him, right? I was like, all right, I'll move in, because it becomes like kind of awkward when you're dating someone and you both like have your own place, right? But you find yourself spending like insane amounts of time at the other person's house. It's like, okay, what's the point in paying two separate places if, you know, you're always at one place, right? So I ended up just moving in with him, staying at his place. And so, by the way, this conversation is for adults 18 years or over. If you're not 18, if you're not an adult, this conversation is not for you. And so, you know, kicking it at his place, living with him. Living with him was kind of like awkward. And I'll tell you guys why. I didn't know this about him in the beginning. It kind of came to the surface as we went along. So it was weird, I guess, because he, being like an attorney, like he was always at work. I'm like, dude, I understand work and all. You work a lot, but to nurture a relationship and for it to last, like, you have to invest as much time in your partner as you do your profession, your work. And he was like married to his work, and I'm like, I respect it. I think that's like what attracted me to him, being that he's a professional and all. I'm like, all right, cool, but you still have to invest time in me. And it came to a point in our relationship, I would say maybe like a year in, where things got really exciting. Like, I know in relationships, people date or they're married, and like as time progresses, things get more dull. But for us, things got more exciting. And so I remember this was like before I moved in with him. He had told me that he was installing cameras throughout the house because there was like more incidences of crime in the neighborhood that was reported. It was like break-ins in the neighborhood, and he lived in a really like nice neighborhood, but for some reason like it was a few break-ins, and so he decided to install some cameras like throughout the house, inside the house, so in case someone intruded, then it would be recorded and we'll be able to identify who it was. I'm like, all right. I kind of felt like kind of weird, like, okay, cameras like inside the house, like, okay, I get it on the outside, but like inside the house in every room. It was a 5-bedroom house, 2.5 bath, and I'm like, okay, all right, whatever, right? So he installed cameras, and I kind of forgot about the cameras. Like, after a while, it just evaded my memory. It wasn't really at the forefront of my mind, right? Like, I wasn't really conscious of the cameras as time went by. I don't think I'm going to finish this, you guys. I don't think I'm going to finish this. I think I'm going to put this in the freezer. Be right back. Alright, so, you know, I got used to the cameras, and I'm like, alright, whatever, right? And then he had a twin brother that lived in New York, and he was married, but, like, I guess he was going through a divorce. Like, he had some issues in his marriage, and he was going through, like, a really tough divorce, and so he had asked his brother if he could come and stay for a little while until, you know, like he got back mentally and financially straight, right? And so he asked me like what I thought about it. He was like, okay, my brother wants to come down, he's gonna stay with us, like what do you think about it? And I'm just like, I mean, I knew his brother, like we had met, he came down like a few times, but I didn't know his brother like I knew him, you know? So I'm just like, I don't know, because you gotta be careful when you're around other people. You just don't know how things may go, right? If you may have friction with another person, you just don't know how the energy is gonna be, right? So I was just like, I guess. I mean, if he needs a place to stay, and it wasn't so much like he needed a place to stay, like, I mean, he had run into some financial problems, but it's like he could have got another place. I'm like, okay, why he just won't get a place in New York? Like, why can't he just get an apartment? But whatever, I guess because you have family, you kind of depend on family first before you exhaust other resources. So he reached out to his brother and asked his brother if he could come. I'm just like, interesting. This is like, how long your brother gonna be staying? You know, because I kind of like the house. It was just me and him, right? Like me and my man. Now your brother coming. So his brother came, and being that my man, my partner, was like away for so long, I kind of took to his brother. Like, not so much like took to him, but we clicked, right? Like the time that I wasn't around my partner, as he was always at work, me and his brother hit it off. Like, we was just chilling, talking, vibing, and he was telling me about his, you know, wife, his ex-wife that he was getting a divorce from, and how difficult it was, like how he's just been stressed. And his brother will always give me compliments, just like, you're so beautiful, you know, I'm glad that you and my brother are together. Like, I always wanted him to be with a beautiful woman who really cares about him, you know, who believes in him, and he knew like I had his back, I was there, right? And so it's like, yeah, you know, like me and his brother kind of clicked. It's almost like my brother in a way, right? I felt like he was my brother. And so y'all be tripping me out with y'all comments. I was like, are y'all watching the same video? Because your comments that y'all leave have nothing to do. Y'all like want to have your own conversation, so I'm not even gonna read that comment because it really has nothing to do with what we're talking about. So yeah, me and his brother clicked, and they were identical twins. I'm just like, just because people are identical twins don't necessarily mean they have like the same mannerisms, the same behaviors, the same beliefs or attitudes or whatever. Like, they just look alike, but they can still just, they can be different, right? But then I noticed that about his brother. Like, his brother had more of a assertive, more of an aggressive kind of swag to him. I mean, he lived in New York most of his life after, you know, he graduated from high school. And his brother just seemed like, his brother seemed more of my type, right? And so I gotta take a sip on this one quick. So one day, you know, his brother, my partner, right, was at work, busy seeing clients and stuff, right, working with people, and me and his brother, you know, had the house to ourselves. And like, it kind of, the way our relationship progressed was like, it came slowly. Like, first it was just us three hanging out, vibing, you know, watching TV, going out to like sports bars and stuff like that, just hanging out. It was us three. And then like, it was like me and his brother kind of alone. We just chilling, still platonic, nothing sexual or nothing like that. Just us vibing. Like I said, I'm an intellectual person, and when I get into having deep-seated conversations, like, we can go on for hours, and it develops a sense of like intimacy, right? So that's what happened. It was like a sense of intimacy that was developed between me and his brother, and we were connected like on a deeper sensual level without even sex being involved. We would sit there and have like conversations, and we'd be on the couch, and his brother just would be like caressing my neck and playing in my dress and stuff like that, but like no sex. And so this is where it kind of got interesting, because there was a few times, well, let me say, it was more than a few times. Okay, I'm saying I could not do it. So there was a few times where, you know what I'm saying, nature kind of took its course, and me and his brother were alone in the house, and like his brother, I was in the kitchen, and I was making some scrambled eggs. It was like morning time. I was making some scrambled eggs, and like his brother like came from like behind me and just like was giving me a hug, and I'm just like, okay, like he had given me a hug before in front of his own brother, but this is when his brother like came and grabbed me like in a different way and like pulled me close from behind, and I looked at him. I was just like, what's up? And he was like, nothing. He was like, you making me something? I was like, yo, I always make you something. Like when I make breakfast, like everybody eat, right? So, and then he was like holding me real tight, and then he like started kissing me on my neck, and I was just like, y'all, I could not resist. Like he started kissing me on my neck, sucking on my neck. Then he started like, then he took my mouth, like he grabbed my chin like with his hand and like pulled it towards his lips, and he was just like kissing me on my lips, and we started tongue kissing, y'all. And then like, I swear I escaped, you guys. I wasn't in my body. I escaped. I was like in a different world, a different dimension, and I just went with it. I went with the flow. And before you know it, y'all, we were connected on a totally different level in the kitchen. Like, I don't want to be vulgar too much in this video, but like, yes, we went there, y'all. We went there in the kitchen. I forgot all about the cameras. I forgot all about that. The cameras, like his brother had put cameras around. I don't even think I forgot. I think I just didn't care. Like it wasn't on my mind. I'm just like, fuck it, like this shit, it feels too good for me just to resist, right? And so like that was like the first time, and then like it was another time that happened where I had came out the shower and I was going to the room. I had the towel around me, and when I went to the room, his brother was sitting on a bed like butt ass naked, like he was sitting on the bed like butt ass naked, just sitting there. And I was just like, seriously? I was like, yo, we can't do this, because if your brother find out, like that's gonna be my ass, like seriously. And then he was going through a divorce. I guess it really didn't matter to him because he was going through a divorce, so he just like whatever. But I'm just like, come on, this is part of me, I mean, we knew like this wasn't right, but then part of it was just like, okay, it could be right. Who's to say what's right and what's wrong? So continue to go with it. We were in the bedroom. The bedroom that me and my partner shared, which is his brother, like we were in that bedroom, and like it went down. It was some monkey business up in there. It went down. I was just like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe it. And it felt, this is the thing, it felt so good. Like him and his brother, although they are twins, like just two different energies. Like my ex-partner, the guy I was dating at the time, he was more sensual, like more caring, more, I don't know, it's like soft, you know. And his brother, from New York, like he was more assertive, more aggressive. I like that. Y'all know I like that dominant energy. So we in the bedroom and like he pulling my hair, he's smacking my ass, he's choking me, just oh my God, giving me everything that I did not get from his brother, right? And that was like the second time, and then like y'all, it became like this pattern where like almost every day. Almost like literally every day, y'all, it went down, and it was like different places throughout the house. And so we chilling, right? This was like around the holidays, and this was like, well, maybe a year and a half. Now we're like a year and a half into our relationship, right? And I still have feelings for this guy, right? So we are all sitting, all three of us, hanging out, sitting in the like, what do you call it, den, or I guess the living room space, right? We're sitting in this area and we're like just not even watching TV, right? We're just kind of talking, kind of like, it felt weird, like I swear, because as we're sitting there, it was like a silence that came over the room. The TV was off, so I'm just like, okay, what's up? Nobody turned the TV on, the TV off. We just sitting there chilling. I don't really watch much TV, but he did. His brother did too. And we sitting there, and then my partner pulls out his phone. He was just like, oh, I got this good video I want to show you guys. You guys have to see this video. Like this video is like a documentary. It's really good. You guys gotta check it out. I'm just like, okay, what's the name of it? Like, he was like really like bigging it up. Like, you gotta see it. You gotta check this out. Like, we just sitting there like, all right. So he pulled it out and he connected to the TV, turned TV on, and lo and behold, y'all. That's how I was trying to debate. Like, should I even say this? Should I even like talk about this? So lo and behold, this motherfucker had them put together a whole freaking series of me and his brother serenading the house. Y'all, I was like, oh my gosh, seriously? And y'all, my initial reaction, like, I swear I wanted to run. But then I'm looking at his face as like he plays this video on the fucking big screen, and I'm like, okay, he don't seem like he's that mad. He actually has a smile on his face, but you gotta be careful with smiles. So I'm just like, is he smiling to cover up something? Is it like a sneaky, mischievous smile, or what is this kind of smile, right? So I'm reading his body language, trying to see like where he's at mentally. And even the energy that I was picking up was that he was cool with it. The whole time he was just cool with it, right? And he seemed like he really was entertained. He was watching and watching it, and it was playing. It was like 5 minutes in, we're watching it. I'm looking at his brother, right? His brother just sitting up there like speechless, ain't saying nothing. I'm looking at him like, seriously, like, you gonna do this? Like, you gonna sit here and watch this video of us having sex? Like, in front of your brother, and he didn't even know about it? Like, to my knowledge, he didn't know, but apparently he knew the whole time, right? So the video continues to play, and then he paused the video, and he asked me, how was it? And he was like, I want you to be honest, like, how was it? And I'm like, seriously? How was it? Like, you saw my reaction, you could tell, like, how was it, right? But I guess he just wanted me to verbalize, like, how was it? And I was like, it was good, like, I enjoyed it. And he was like, you did? I was like, why? Like, why are you playing this? Like, are you upset? Like, what's going on? Like, what are we doing? He was like, I actually like it too. I've been watching y'all the whole time. I haven't been saying anything, but I've been watching y'all the whole time. And I was like, that's kind of sick. Like, you're gonna sit up here and watch me have sex with your brother? Like, that's sick as hell. And he's just like, yeah, I like the way my brother dominates you, and I actually wanted to ask y'all if you will allow me to watch it in person, like real life in person, because he had been watching it through video. I was just like, what? Yeah, completely mind blown, right? I'm like, what? So I look at his brother, right, to see like his reaction, and he just was like looking at her like, it's up to her. And I was just like, what? This cannot really be happening. That was I was speechless, y'all. You know how like you're so shocked you have no words because you're just so shocked? That's where I was. And then I looked at my partner at the time, and I'm just like, I can't believe this cannot be real. This cannot be real, you guys. And I sit here today, and I'm just like, gotcha. It can't be real because it's not real, you guys. That did not actually happen, okay? It's just a complete story I just made up. I just made this story up, y'all. Like, and let me tell y'all why. The reason why I made it up is because I wanted to entertain you guys. First of all, like, I have been getting so many messages, people asking me like, will I try Cuckold? Will I try Cuckold? I'm like, how can I deliver this message? How can I answer your question in a very entertaining way? So I decided to come up with this like fabricated story of me actually trying the Cuckold lifestyle, right? A fantasy, basically. I developed this fantasy. That did not happen, you guys. By the way, like, yes, I did live in Atlanta, Georgia, but dating two twin brothers. I wish. I wish I dated two twin brothers. That would be like, whoa. So it was easy for me to develop this story, I think, because y'all know I'm a storyteller, I'm a writer. Like, I just completely made this up this morning. Like, as we were going along, I was just making it up. I like to have fun, but I think I chose that because it's a fantasy that I've had. So to answer many of your questions, like as far as will I date a cuckold? I know I said this before. I addressed this question before in a previous video, and I said that, did I answer that question? I can't remember what the hell did I say. I know what I said. I said that it's not really something that really has been on my radar, but I would consider exploring it, right? It's not something, like I told you guys before, just because I make a video on a certain topic doesn't necessarily mean that I want to try that particular activity or behavior or lifestyle. I just can talk about different things. But I mean, honestly, previously, before I had even made a video, before I had made a freaking video, my very first video I made on Cuckold was 2019. Before I made that video, I have always had fantasies about having sex with, you know, multiple, like more than one man at the same time. You are a true writer, Big up. I'm a storyteller. That's what I am. I've been telling stories since I was a little girl. Telling stories. I would tell like ghost stories with my cousins. We'll be sitting like on a day like today. It's actually, I went outside to get this across the street, and I noticed it was raining. It was drizzling. But I would, like, you know, on a rainy day, gather my cousins. We were young, like elementary school age, and I would just make up some shit, and I would have their ass spooked. But I just find it to be interesting. The imagination is like, the mind is, ooh, is wonderful. You just to see how you can manipulate words to create a story that people actually, you know, grasp and they hold on to and they actually believe, and it can be completely made up, you know. Because our minds can't really distinguish between sometimes reality and what's not real, you know. So I like that. I like that aspect of storytelling. But I made that shit up, y'all. My best friend, who's from Ohio, who actually, you know, was my significant other when I was living in Atlanta, like, he would tell you, like, that's completely made up. I did not date no twin brothers and live and move in and but it's just something like, you know, fantasizing. Like, when you, I'm not the only one who fantasizes now. Y'all be having fantasies too, I'm sure, and feel free to share your fantasy below. But we all have fantasized about what it would be like to do something, and it's just a fantasy. That's all it is. It's a fantasy. So to answer your question, will I date a cuckold? I mean, if it's in the context of polyandry, yes, because that's something that I've been wanting to explore, like a polyandrous relationship. And I know when I first made my very first made a video on polyandry, this was a couple years ago, I think. The response was, oh, you're not going to be able to find men who, especially dominant men who are into polyandry. Good luck with that. You may be able to find beta males, but no dominant men will be in polyandry. And I'm just like, can't speak for all men. You don't know who's into what. You just never know. And even considering cuckold, like, I didn't know so many men are into cuckold, and it's not just white men. You'll be surprised. I've been getting some feedback on my videos from black men who just like, hey, I'm down. What's up? Just like, what? But this is the distinguishing factor, though, because it's one thing to take interest in a woman having sex with another man, but it's another thing to actually be like seriously involved in a relationship. A triangular relationship between, you know, a woman and you and another man, and, you know, you really have feelings for this woman, right? Because sex is one thing, and I'm not the kind of, I know I talk about sex, you know, quite often, but sex is not something, I mean, I look at it as something spiritual, right? It's not something that I just take lightly and just go have sex with this person and that person. Like, no, for me, it's a deep connection that I have, and I would like to reserve it, save it for a space that is very sacred. So as long as it happens in the context of a relationship that I'm involved with, you know, both guys, 2 or more guys, and, you know, we care about each other, then why not? But just some random guys who's like, who want to get their freaking dick wet and just want to be entertained by watching a man fuck a woman real good, no. But I do think there's a special component that men who are cuckolds, like, they kind of get off on the idea and even, you know, the actual reality of seeing a man have sex with a woman, you know. There's something to that, like, to see, to watch. And I talked about this in another video I made on cuckold, how, like, I think we all have that, like, voyeuristic quality or trait within us, right? Because, I mean, people who have watched porn, what do you call that? You know, so it's just a matter of doing it in real life and seeing a man have sex with a woman, especially a woman that you care about, you know? And then a man that you know and you're friends with. Can y'all imagine that? Especially if you're not doing it right, you're not hitting it right. You can learn some pointers, you know. In the case of that story that I completely made up, like, just think, you know, the partner that I would have been with, right, in that story that I was living with, I mean, maybe he wasn't hitting it right, and then in comes his brother from New York, the more aggressive twin, who can lay the pipe down right, and he sit and watch, you know, the interaction between me and his brother, and see, like, how his brother makes me feel in ways that he will never be able to probably. I mean, he can try, he can practice, but some people just have this natural, like, air about them, that they can do things that other people just can't do. It just comes naturally. So I like to prank you guys. That was fun. That was completely fun. But the question also is like, if I was involved in a cuckold relationship, would I go public? I don't know. I keep my relationships off of social media anyway, so I may talk about like my reaction to certain things that may happen in a relationship, but as far as like coming public and bringing the person on camera, that may be too much. That may be too, especially if it's something that I hold sacred, like that may be too much. But this was fun. This was this was stimulating. This was fun. And feel free to drop your questions below. Drop your comments below for people who are interested in the cuckold lifestyle and want to know more. Like, I'm open to addressing your questions. I always can say, if you don't feel comfortable leaving your questions publicly on my post, you can always email me at authordleach@gmail.com. AUTHOR as an author of a book, D, my first initial, my first name, and Leach, Leach, authordleach@gmail.com. I'm really easy to get a hold of. I also have a website, my name, danielleleach.com, so you can use a contact form on my page, contact page on my website to reach out to me. But I could have been a little bit more descriptive, in my storytelling. Maybe next time.